Hello. Wow, everybody are here on such a short notice. Lovely, thank you. What's up, Ebony? And Jackie, Jacqui. Wow, so many people showed up. Guru, how are you? Chris, Blue Rooster. Everybody are here on such a short notice. That's amazing. Appreciate you, guys. Z. Carrot, rotten pumpkins. Wonderful handle, Ozzy. Greg, cool girl, Jax. That's a great handle. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go to the bottom of this. Val is in the house. How are you? Let's see what we got here. What? Strange. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Just making sure. Inky, thank you so much. If you guys want to follow us on Discord, please do so. My handle is LaserX83. Thank you so much, Ebony. Perfect. Nomi Cat is in the house. Let's see. Up. Try and get at least 3 people there. We're lagging. We have 2 people last time. But I guess it's the average, right? Yeah. But thank you, everybody who are doing so. I appreciate you. What's up, 888? 8888. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, everyone. And today, everything had to kind of be impromptu just because I was on the road all day. Today, we'll also do the Or it's lost. Take me there. What is this? Today, we're going to also do the members live on YouTube in about an hour. It's going to be a shorter one than usual just because it's very late, but it was a choice between that and not doing one this week. So schedule was a bit tight. So I prefer to do a shorter one than not do them at all. But we can have a short and succinct one. CryptoVin, how are you? Kung Fu Grammar is in the house. Synopsis. You didn't sleep well, Ebony? Today was how come? Ooh, these are cool emojis. Jacqueline Michelle. Again, is it just Jackie or Jacqueline? How do you pronounce that? I know I'm no, we can. I know I'm mispronouncing it all the time for sure. There's no way I'm not. What's up, JH? Deft 001. Thank you for joining. Realty Gal. MT Real T Gal. I'm terrible with the onliners. Trenton, Elias, Wabi. Like Jackie. Okay, cool. All right. Hey, Lisa. How are you doing? Okay. So, let's see what we can get into today, the time that we do have. Let's have the mind. Chris Riley. The circles are tightening, my friends. As you can see, spirits are rising. But these are signs that we are approaching the wonderful events of the future. Focus on your heart. Focus on your heart. Focus on what you can do to give people the love they deserve, the love that you would like to receive. Do you know Jackie? Awesome, Jackie. Base training. Stupa of Enlightenment. Well, that sounds wonderful. The news, everything I'm trying to pull up comes up with all kinds of crazy turmoils. What is that? Did you guys know that Magnus Carlsen is quitting classical chess? That's wild. Maybe most people don't care, but it's kind of a wild thing. I'm trying to see if there's anything worth touching on. Yeah, everything's kind of the same, you know? Okay, so let me then address some of your guys' comments / questions. Base trading is saying it's very good. It's a Tibetan Buddhist statue that overlooks mountains and valley. Where is that? Sounds lovely. The whole gang is here indeed. Someone's quitting classical chess. Yeah, Magnus Carlsen. I think after that loss to Gukesh, that was anybody who's into chess should look this up because this was wild. That win was so wild. I mean, you know, some people are just supercomputers. They're not real. It's unbelievable. Magnus got really upset at the end. I mean, I guess it's kind of old news. This was like a week ago, maybe, but still, this is just a wild thing. Anybody who doesn't know, who's not into it, Magnus Carlsen is basically not just the world champion, was the world champion for a long time. I think Gukesh is the current world champion, but he's probably the best chess player of all time, by far, like by far. So the fact that he's quitting classical chess, it's crazy. I think he just did it all, you know. Where do you go from there? When you do it so many times, you have that insomnia. It happens every once in a while, huh? Or does it always happen to you, Ebony? Colorado. Crestone. Let's see. Colorado. Crestone. Ooh, that's beautiful. It does look. It looks kind of, you know, like it has that vibe. Ooh. Oh, I see it. It's lovely. I want to visit. Thank you for letting me know. This is beautiful. Hey, my Brighton, good to see you. Watched the Queen's Gambit on Netflix years ago, but never been into chess much myself. Checkers was more my cool. I don't know. He loses all the time, but yeah, he loses all the time. I mean, not often, but he loses. Obviously, he doesn't. He didn't win 100% of the games he ever played. But also, Gukesh is probably the most like in terms of classical. He's probably the king. Like in terms of calculations, is and you can see that last win. It's just like he basically recovered from an impossible position. And yeah, man, when people do anything on a high level, it's always impressive, right? Obviously, but especially with chess because you're talking about such a high level of operation in terms of human intellect. When people are just that good at it, it's whew. What is the simulation talk we're going to dive into today? Well, to be honest, because I was on the road all day, my brain is a little more like you're just kind of like getting into it. And in about 45 minutes, we're going to jump into the members live, which, by the way, if you're not part of the membership program on YouTube, if you want to join that, please do so. And this will give you access to our members live, which, if you're not familiar, we usually dive much deeper into subjects. We watch videos, we analyze all kinds of things that we think that are fun slash important, talk about aliens, argue about things, laugh. It's a lot of fun. So if you want to join Dango Thoughts on YouTube, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube, join the membership program. I think it's like $3 or something. It gives you access to all the membership lives, which one is going to start in about 45 minutes. If you join second tier and up, it also gives you access to Zoom calls with me once a month, which is kind of nice because I get to meet people more personally, which is wonderful. I really love those. And you're helping the project. Come join the membership program. Highly recommend. Also, if you want to know more about the project and or get our merch, including this beautiful mug that is running out of stock because this is the old logo and we have a new one, decoderreality.com. I know I'm doing a lot of promotional stuff, but I always forget to say these things in the beginning, and then I remember and I have to do it again. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? There you go. Thank you so much, Ebony. I appreciate you. You have a regular insomnia, and I would assume you tried everything, right? I think we spoke about this. Yeah, we did. When I told you about my friend who has insomnia, I do remember now. 2 ADHD for chess. I don't think there's such a thing. Chess is very engaging, so I'm not really sure that ADHD is something that should prevent you from playing chess. If anything, it should help. Or maybe it's just your particular flavor is not into chess, and this is why your ADHD steers away from it. Because they basically now know that ADHD is not a matter of inability to function or to focus, is the inability to focus on anything that you're not really into. It just means that you're really not into chess. But good to have you with us, Tiniest Squish. Screw you guys, I'm going home. It does have that vibe. There's a bunch of Buddhist centers here and spiritual retreats. Yeah, I think they also have they were building a Vipassana center as well, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's in the same area, but well, Guru, you have to start at some point. You like speed chess, the mine? Get bored? What's up, Ambient Glass? Good to see you. Django Unchained. That's hilarious. Thank you, Ebony, for putting our merch there. Did you see Lex Friedman using the light field display at Google? Yeah, so Google's light display. Yeah, I haven't seen this. It's really cool. Google's light display is slightly different, I think. They use some kind of another extra component to also add the actual coming out of the screen. They combine 3D technology with light field, which is like way wilder. But yeah, the world is going to a really cool place, huh? Got 4 hours of sleep last night, but I feel okay. Got a bit of a nap earlier. Cool. Yeah, naps can help. Yeah, it happens to me once in a while. Yeah, cannabinoids don't actually help you sleep. They help you fall asleep. Apparently, they prevent you from sleeping very well. Like your sleep is not that deep, which I guess it's better than nothing for sure. But it's pretty clear. The data is pretty clear. It's not actually helping you sleep. It's helping you falling asleep. Yep, me and Ebony are on the same page. THC doesn't really agree with us. I think it might be time, never really much on my mind. But when I feel this feeling, I know that it's the divine. With every word that rhymes, all I can hear is you crying. Well, cry without the crying would rhyme better. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I actually took that friend that I was telling you about, Ebony, the one that also has insomnia. I tried. I basically advertised for Pasana to him, and he for potentially helping him sleep because he had it for decades, and he ended up going, and he really loved the Pasana, but it didn't help him sleep. But at least now he's a lot calmer. He really loves it. He goes every year. And as far as THC, I feel like there's just the world is really divided in that regard. Like people that are closer to their body, to the somatic, I feel like they're a lot more connecting with THC, just because it's more of a somatic experience. But people that are more cerebral usually are less. They're smaller fan. They're not as big of a fan of THC. Me included. I mean, it's nice to relax and everything, but it just makes me so lethargic and whatever. What's up, Martha? What's up, Yoni? Go to sleep when tired. Sounds easy, but I didn't want. Yeah, it is a big one. I think you're right. Exactly. Going to sleep exactly when you're tired is the secret. It's like just drifting. When you have to do more things, all of a sudden you can't sleep after that. It's crazy. Also, staring at screens right before sleep is not helpful, which we do a lot. Yep, Chris. Basically, you don't really dream. You get such crazy, vivid dreams when you stop smoking. If you smoke. What's Limbo? Brandon. I spoke about this before on the live, but I'm just going to do a quick comment because it's really dear to my heart. People who suffer from ADHD or severe ADHD. One of the tricks that really worked for me is that divided into different things to work on versus thinking about it as an overarching problem of lack of focus. is not helpful. It's very difficult to deal with this way. But if you realize that it's a set of problems, one of the first ones that this program recommended to focus on is task initiation and practice nothing else but that. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gift. Salcam, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but thank you so much. What's up, Trey? So basically, you practice when you don't feel like doing something, you practice of just getting up and just moving towards that thing. You don't even have to do it. You just physically get up. Anybody can do it, but you got to get up in that instance and go. Then you train your brain to basically just override the brain and just like, fuck, just get into your body and move. Then, if you still don't feel like it, you don't even have to do it, but at least you got up. Next time you're going to get up, you're going to get to the thing, you're going to do maybe 2 seconds or 3 seconds of the task, and then stop. You don't have to continue. But task initiation is something you got to work on first. It's really helpful. Practice this for 2 weeks, see what happens. You ever tried Aya? I was wondering if you're looking into the beam. Yeah, Aya works as well. Mushrooms work as well. 5 works as well. Can't say all the full names just because TikTok's weird about it. What's up, Dakota? Good to have you with us, brother. You know, in a dream. Chris is saying, yep, 100%. After I stopped, they picked up again and I started having dreams again. Some feelings so real. Too, it makes me pause and I have to tell myself that that was a dream. Yeah, that happened to me too. Top Limbo. Ebony's saying, I get these sleepy moments at random. If I lay down, I will pass out immediately. But yeah, like I said, I won't stay asleep. Oh, interesting. So you don't wake up. So it might be that your cycles are just very different and you got to find them. But it's kind of hard with the job and everything. Does Gaia give an explanation? No, it doesn't give an explanation. But the code seems to be something that we have to figure out without anybody else explaining it to us. Tracy saying, I found you a while ago and have been obsessed with this research. Well, I'm glad you're here with us. I appreciate you. I want the knowledge that comes from all beings. You can access to it. Well, you'll be surprised how much knowledge actually comes through us. This is something that people very often overlook, that we have a role to play in knowledge creation. And all the other hints that you're getting from the other space are basically just like little nudges to help you learn how to know how to do it better and more. So it's not so much about giving you information, it's about showing you how information can be constructed so you learn how to do it yourself. The whole point is to assume responsibility, not necessarily to just receive things as a word from God, but actually learn how to discern and acquire real knowledge by ourselves. Do you think Vipassana can help with ADHD? Absolutely. Yes, 100% it can help, yes. But I would recommend to first do a 10-day retreat, which if it is Vipassana proper and not some other form of mindfulness, actually they don't allow you to do anything but the 10 days in the beginning, and then you can do shorter ones. You can do a day, you can do 3 days, but you have to do the 10 days first. I would highly recommend that. I was listening to a previous episode, and I think the difference in people you are talking about is more tolerance thing, like how alcohol has tolerance. I think the molecule also has tolerance. Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely. I'm very jealous, Jackie, just so you know. I had a thought that we have done this many times before. Like it's not really 2025 because it's already been this year over and over and over again. Maybe variations. I honestly never understood. Like it's possible, of course, but I just considering the fact that we don't really have access to knowing that, I think that something tells me that the simulation is going to be running. It's going to be running all possible things, right? That's the whole point. So maybe it will run variations of this, but exactly the same thing never happened before. In fact, I would claim it is impossible for the same thing to happen again. It might happen almost exactly the same, but my claim would be that nothing in existence can ever happen twice. That's the whole point of it, which is what I would assume the parallel worlds are. They're just variations of what can happen. And in fact, there is something called the Lorentz attractor in chaos theory that states that nothing can ever, ever, ever repeat twice. And we basically we can prove this. We can verify that that's the case. You do not subscribe to the many worlds theory. So which theory do you subscribe to? The Copenhagen interpretation? Actually, in the last members live, we were talking about the double slit experiment and we were talking about the many worlds interpretation. We're talking about it quite a bit. So if anybody goes to last week's episode, if you remember, you can watch that one. And I think that it will it will help move you closer to the many worlds interpretation. The mind is saying, I got a question for you. I asked Jackie, but maybe you can answer it. Simulation of what? I know Jackie answered, which is a good one. And seal puzzles. Me, I still need to think about it. But again, I ask if this is a simulation, what is it simulating of? Yeah, so this is a very fundamental question that is very often being asked. Good question. But it has to do with the misunderstanding of the word simulation. So simulation does not necessarily mean fake. It's true that we mostly use it in terms of a version of, but notice that there's a assumption there that there's base reality, and on top of it, there's a computational layer that is only mimicking reality. But if you allow for the possibility that reality, at bottom, on the most fundamental layer, is computational in nature, then all of a sudden, what we called base reality is in fact just another layer of reality within a much larger computational space. So it's the other way around. So simulation would just mean a parallel slice of reality. So it would be infinite slices of these realities, and altogether, it's the computational world. And simulations would be just variations of one another. So in that sense, it's simulating all the possible trajectories. They change our reality. Who is they? The next question is, what is reality if it's being... Well, I think this answers that too. So your focus can change things, Mandela effect style, but it's already created for me. Well, it's that the possibility space exists, but for it to execute as a computational layer that actually happened, that requires a certain trajectory through that space, which makes the difference between things that occur and things that do not occur. even if there are potential. Me and Jackie were watching it, and honestly, I believe in the many worlds series. Jackie, she is reluctant to believe in such things. I'm a trajectory. Wait. I'm on a trajectory, and future mandala effects are already there, waiting for me. Well, that is literally the many worlds interpretation, as what you're describing is the many worlds. I keep a journal for trips like that, the ones that really move me. But lately, the protocol has taken me in a different direction for experiencing the profound, so different data. Interesting. What's up, Drasco? Yeah, so the different timelines is the many worlds. Quite literally, Jackie. It's so awesome about eating potato wedges only within the past year. Began eating in my dreams. It's one of a few things that has enhanced my dreams by leaps and bounds. Potato wedges? That sounds fascinating. What about integrated information theory, the mind? Can you recommend any movie or documentary that talks about the idea that our reality might be a simulation? Funny you should ask. We're making one of those documentaries and it's going to be ready in the end of the year. So stay tuned. Yeah, everything you're describing, Jackie, is literally the many worlds interpretation. There's a different timelines. What's up, Kirsten? None of these changes have an intelligence behind them. Um, how come? Nothing in the many worlds precludes or assumes subgalactic um, intelligence across the layers. I mean, of course, there's intelligence. You can have layers on top of layers on top of layers, and if some of them are simulated by other layers, it's still contained within the many worlds interpretation. Then the many worlds interpretation is just a technical explanation of how we believe it unfolds in quantum physics. Yes, there are entities behind these changes, absolutely. But they don't change it according to what you want. It's all automated. Uh, in fact, I'm going to say something that maybe is a little disconcerting to most people. Um, they don't care about you, which I think is beautiful. They care about the system, so they automate that system. But everything that you experience is with yourself. That part is true. If you simulate hundreds of billions of galaxies, how would you go about knowing what entities like humans were thinking? You don't. You watch their actions, convictions as they get instantiated in the environment that you've placed them in. If you pay close attention, you'll see the personalities. I'm telling you again, I'm aware of them. So I'm telling you, yes, there are definitely intelligences. What's up, Ian? Hope you're doing amazing, brother. Would there be any way for the ones running simulation to know if we'd figure out that we live in simulation? They know. They know we're figuring it out right now. It's part of the process. It sounds like it's not a secret, just to be clear. It sounds like you're talking about integrated information theory when you're saying everything is computational at the fundamental level. No, not at all. Integrated information theory talks about some fundamental structures of informational networks. But everything is computational would be referring more to the universality of computation by Turing. Ultimately, it's not necessarily uh, tied to any particular theory of computation. It's computation as the ultimate abstraction that we're talking about. So many theories would include it, or any theory that would be close to describing what the world really is would have to describe it in terms of computational world. What's up, Drasko? Tango thoughts, what was the limit of what you were able to intellectually understand or perceive, or what the beings are showing you during trips? I think that's a very broad question. I'm not sure how to answer that question because you're leaving me with an infinite possibility space to pick from. So I guess in a sense there is some simulation of reality, but I do think there is a deeper truth that always occurs. The simulation of reality is a part of, I would say, our perception. No, our perception is less deep. Our perception is the more emergent layers, and then there's the deeper ones that we're not. They have nothing to do with our perception. There are many levels of deception and simulations that are going in here and programming, or just the natural state of affairs. Do you think the Mantis beings could be deceiving you, and how would you determine? You don't, nor do you need to. You live according to what is unfolding for you in the moment. In the same way that you would be determining if other humans are deceiving you. You live, you see, you learn, you move on. I do see. I have quite a robust experience with this stuff, Jackie. I assure you. I've visited these spaces thousands of times over a period of close to 30 years. Funny enough, even though uh, in your 40s, it shouldn't maybe seem like you should be holding it, starting playing with a title like that, but I'm probably one of the most experienced psychonauts on planet Earth. I'm saying this without a shred of ego. It's just a matter of like number of times, the vastness of experience, the depth to which I plunged. There's definitely quite a few of us in the world, but I'm definitely one of them. So I can tell you that the concentric circles that you're talking about, ultimately, what you're talking about is in fact, and I can tell you this with certainty, it is what you're describing is not allowed. So if you're constantly interacting with tricksters that are constantly trying to cajole you, that's exactly what they're doing. They're not allowed to control you. It is forbidden on the highest order. The only thing that anything in the universe can do is try and convince you that they are controlling you, which then makes you subconsciously kind of give them permission. But if you don't give them permission, they're not allowed. They will never cross that line, because the thing they're going to be messing with, if they cross that line, nobody crosses the line with that thing. I can tell you this with certainty. So next time some being tells you, oh, it's just how it has to be, say, I don't think so. See what happens. They would have to go away, or they would try and scare you more, but they're not allowed to control you. It is forbidden on the highest order. So all the gatekeepers out there know that you will ultimately lose. What's up, April? I believe me, I pay attention to details. There's literally all my brain does is pay attention to details. Val's like, I do actually think they care about you. Yeah, well, they care about the system for sure, but not about you individually. Which, to me, I think it's a liberating thought. I know we love we really need that thought that, we really matter in that way, but Eric is saying, would you agree that higher intelligence conceptualize knowing differently? It's not that they know more necessarily, it's more that they are more capable of abstracting wide spans of info. Both. I would say types of knowledge grow with the levels of abstraction. So I think you nailed it there. But there's no different kind of knowing. There's only one kind of knowing, which is just being in the presence of something that in fact is true and being able to uh, uh, mimic that state inside of yourself in such a way that that thing starts vibrating in the same way, and you go, you kind of see what it is. It sees you, you see it, kind of thing. A door opens, so to speak. And I know we like to play with categories, so people say, well, it's different to know something in your mind and to know something when you instantiate it in your experience. But I do think that ultimately it's all the same knowing expressing itself through the different channels. And they all have this opening component. So when you know something truly, like deeply, first of all, you never do it just with what you would call your mind, because part of it is also instantiated in your body, because it's the totality of the truth of the state of affairs. And when you come in the presence of that, it's a type of a state. Knowing, I actually, even though you can move through the weaving of informational spaces, knowing is a state that you occupy. It's not so much like a you don't it's not like a linear progression and then you get there and then you move on from there, but now you know this forever, right? Knowing is a state that you can occupy and you can cease from occupying, which means that you there's enough things happening with your state of being that all of a sudden it kind of snaps into position of into the state of knowing, and it can snap out of it as well. This is how people forget, right? So it's more akin to long exposure of a camera to the stars, to the night sky, than a linear progression of adding details. So in that regard, just in general, I would reframe it in that way. So you have a situation where you expose the camera longer and longer. So it's not like you mapping the sky linearly and you go, here's a star here, here's a star there, here's a star there. You don't go like that, right? And eventually you see the sky. No, you just expose the camera and slowly but surely more and more detail kind of appearing everywhere at once. And you expose it long enough, you expose yourself to that information long enough, you all of a sudden will see the sky for what it is, kind of thing. Some of them do, sure. Exactly, Kirsten. How do you watch their actions? Like, how do you know what the accumulated knowledge in books and such is, and how do you really watch their actions as such? So you're talking about a larger question. You're talking about epistemology in general, of the science of knowledge, the science of how you know anything. It's one of the deepest fields of philosophy. It's not a 5 minute answer to this one. But we can maybe dive into epistemology if you guys want in the members live, which will start in about 20 minutes. Energy does care. Oh, does not care or matter. We do. I'll put it you that this way. It was made evidently clear to me that it's wonderful that I exist, but it makes no difference whatsoever. Sorry, that's the wrong wording. But it doesn't matter whatsoever. It makes a difference in the aggregate, but without you, it will be just as fine. And to me, that really hits the nail on the head, which is that you exist, so that's wonderful. But if you wouldn't, it wouldn't really matter. I think that's a beautiful thought. It might depress some people because they want to just matter that much. But I think knowing that kind of removes a lot of the pressure. What's up, Terry? Simulations were running in about galaxy formation and such. And if we were to run simulations that were detailed enough to develop conscious beings, how do you actually know that? Because details has nothing to do with the consciousness of it. Those are two separate domains. We can dive into this in the members live. We can maybe dive a little bit into Bernardo Kastrup's thought on that. Actually, that would be fun because we can combine the whole conversation about free will with the combination of analytic idealism, the way that Bernardo presents it. What's up, Aaron? How are you, brother? Carter's in the house. How are you, brother? Oh, I know, Jackie. We're all just trying to make sense of it. But that part, I can. You can take this to the bank. There's a universal law that I think it's more than just no one dares to cross. It's also that no one can cross. That is nothing is allowed to hijack your agency. It can try and convince you that it can, which is the only way to control you. Sounds familiar? So just like you believe the governments do that, a lot of other beings are also doing that. It's funny how people are very quick to allow anything beyond our space to just be immediately some kind of a thing that has a final arbitrage of something. Because if you think about it, we, especially in the more free thought communities, and I'm doing it in scare quotes just because it's like, what does that even mean, right? But in the communities that kind of like to push back against the mainstream narrative, which I believe that a lot of the listeners in this channel would belong to, right? But usually in our the different Venn diagrams of all these communities, from UAPs to spiritual circles to all the people that kind of are drawn more to counter narratives or not mainstream narratives. We're all perfectly happy to question the government, big organizations, billionaires. We're saying all these people with a lot of power. No, thank you. Like we don't trust anything you're saying. We don't want anything to do with you. Which is really funny because the second it moves into this other corner that we can't see behind, which is like this hyperspace, we automatically just trust. We just go like, oh, well, it came from hyperspace, so it's got to be true. Why? I think the government is lying to you. Why do you think they're not lying to you? Now, that's not to say that there's no way to discern these things. And I'm actually in the habit of not being that quick to dismiss even our own institutions. But if you are in the habit of dismissing most of these institutions, if not all of them, almost as a pathology, how come you're giving whatever they are? How come you're giving that space a pass? Think about that. When I did Salvia, I became all of existence. Then I became pure observer. That's amazing. You got worse. Wait, why are you proud of me for doing a lot of DRUGs? That's not a reason to be proud of anyone. Thank you, Galactic Mind. Fascinating how much of what you are saying lines up with deep spiritual insights and non-duality, even the rules of no one being able to be controlled. Yeah, well, don't forget I am drawing on a lot of experience with these spaces, and I am a meditator. So I've been doing Vipassana for quite a few years. I've visited, I don't know what you want to call them, spiritual places, both with and without substances. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is converging. Nico, how are you, brother? I saw you were posting about all the craziness that's going on in LA. Are you and your family doing all right? Just saw gesture in my dreams once, but just the clothes. Yep. The gestures, I will give you that. The gestures are very powerful. They really are. They're one of the most powerful beings. I talked about them quite a bit, but they are very, very powerful. However, still, they cannot control you, but they are very powerful. So you got to respect them without a doubt. Chris, thank you so much. Chris just gifted 5 memberships to people on YouTube. If you guys are not on YouTube, you should join because once in a while this happens. Our incredible moderators, once in a while, gifting people memberships. Currently it's Chris, but sometimes Ebony does that. Sometimes other moderators. So thank you so much for being here with us, guys. Chris, I appreciate you deeply. It never is an obvious thing. Our YouTube channel is Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. Come join us. Let's see what we got. Loading class. That's an interesting point. Tiniest Squish is saying, just like our human overlords have to tell us what they are doing before, or as they do it. They inform us through entertainment media of various forms. That's a really good point. Carter is saying, no gates, no secrets, all open. Couldn't agree more. Literally we're in the situation of, the analogy that people give with the cage or with the elephant with the little rope, right? When the elephant is very young, the elephant is tied to a pole, and then when the elephant gets larger, and of course the elephant can just walk, but the elephant is so used to not being able to walk away from this pole that it stays next to the pole. And the same thing with the open cage. The example of the open cage, same thing. There's no cage. It's not even the cage is open. There's no cage. The cage is our idea of the cage. That's the only cage that exists. Literally. That's the absurdity of it. So the irony, maybe the mother of all ironies, is that the people that are the most devoted to telling everybody how they know the real secret of the war on, we are in a prison planet and all that stuff. You guys don't understand. They are creating their own prison in full. So not only they don't understand what's going on, they create the situation they think they understand by insisting that they understand it. In my universe, there are no limitations and there are no prisons. What's up, Halloween? Whoa, there's a lot of comments. What's up, Master Shaker? Oh, Mars Shaker. Master Shaker would maybe be different. I'm glad you agree, Jackie. Woohoo! Awesome, Jackie. Yeah, actually, Mars Shaker, we're working on that, trying to figure out if we can see the code without the molecule and record it on some external device. I can't accept gifted memberships because I refuse to give Google more personal information. All right, gotta respect that. Kirsten is saying, I was shown we are just playing a huge game with ourselves where we forget and remember. Food for thought. Couldn't agree more. Thank you for sharing. There is no spoon. However, there's a fork. Because we live on a sausage and you gotta be able to eat the sausage with a fork. But that's the main reason. All right, good guys. I'm gonna jump off so we can jump on our members live. If you're not a member on YouTube, on the channel Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, come join us. Come join the membership program so you can join our members live in 5 minutes. You can also check out our merch on the website codeofreality.com, and you can join our beautiful community on Discord, which you can find the link to in my link tree on TikTok and on my main YouTube channel page. The third link from the top of all my socials is our Discord channel. Come join us. We have wonderful people there. If you want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It'll be Goller Danny. Just swap them if you want to join on X. LaserX83, which is our Twitch channel, LaserX83, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come join our membership program, come support the channel, and come get our merch on the website, codeofreality.com. We have this fading glass mug that will never exist again. This will be a collector's item because we have a new logo and it will never exist again, and the shirt that you guys will find on our website. All right, guys, see you in a moment. Much love. See all the members in 1 moment. Peace and love, everybody. See you tomorrow. Ciao. See you guys in a moment.